Hey guys, welcome back, and holy shit do we have something so awesome to talk about today. What you are seeing on the screen right now is a piece of Halo Wars 2 concept art, and yes, that is the Ark in the background. Holy shit. So let's get into this and break it down systematically, looking at it piece by piece to see what's actually in this picture. Before we start, if you could be so kind as to leave a like for Halo Wars 2, that would be fantastic. So let's begin with the elephant in the room. The Ark. The Ark is in the background. I still genuinely cannot believe this. Now, to me, the Ark does not look destroyed. It seems intact, which actually further supports my previous theory that Halo Wars 2 will be set before the Fall of Reach even occurs, around 2540, but possibly even earlier than that. Now, just to note, I am 99.9% sure that this Ark is the lesser Ark and not the greater Ark. Also, a Reddit user by the name of SodaPop53 noticed that there appears to be a partly deconstructed or destroyed planet above the Ark. Now, it's possible that a Retriever Sentinel could have actually been harvesting this planet itself for resources to repair or construct something. But the question here is, what was it repairing or constructing? If Halo Wars 2 is set in 2540, then the Ark has not been damaged by the firing of Installation 04B yet, so it's intact, so what is there to be repaired? Now, for those who aren't sure what a Retriever Sentinel is, basically it's something that the Ark uses to harvest resources from a planet and harvest the planet itself, to gather resources to construct or repair something. For example, if it needs to repair a Halo ring, then it will harvest a planet for resources to do so. Now, the last thing in regards to the Ark is that below this planet there is a citadel of some sort. Now, it's basically just a silhouette and there's not too much to say about it. However, it does, fingers crossed, look a lot more like the old Foreigner design that we're used to from Halo 1 through Reach than the new architecture which we've had in Halo 4 and 5, you know, where it's more angular and modern and clean. Now, I personally prefer the old Foreigner design, and if 343 and Creative Assembly go back to that in the future, I would welcome it with open arms because I much prefer it. Moving on to the next part of the picture, and holy shit, there's a brute scarab. This just gets crazier and crazier. This scarab actually resembles the Type 47A Protoss scarab, which is the scarab from Halo 2, as it doesn't seem to have an anti-aircraft gun on the top, and it seems more flat and lower to the ground. But I really like this design, the brute design that they're going for with Halo Wars 2. It's covered in sort of metal plates that look really barbaric, and I guess the only word that keeps coming into my mind is brutish. It just fits the brute sort of aesthetic perfectly. It looks sharp, deadly, tough, and just brutish in general, so can we just really take a second to admire how good this looks? Next up, we have the Locusts, and yes, the Locusts are back. This was kind of hinted at in a previous canon fodder about a month ago. Grim released a picture of a Locust that, when you reverse image searched it, it came up with no results. But I guess that this all but confirms it. A Brute Locust is confirmed for Halo Wars 2. Yes, let's go. Another thing I want to mention real quick is that the brutes seem to favour an orange plasma over the traditional blue, which is just a small thing, but I thought it was worth noting. Moving on, we have the brutes themselves. So in the centre stage here, we have the brute that we've seen in practically every single piece of official Halo Wars 2 media so far. And as he seems to be taking centre stage, we can assume that he is going to be a very major character in Halo Wars 2's story. But in this picture, he also has two buddies with him, both wearing armour that looks very similar to a cross between the Uruk-hai from The Lord of the Rings and the Halo 3 Brute Power Armour, something I really like. Now, Flawless Cowboy on Reddit did a great breakdown of this picture and noted how the weapon that the Brute on the far right is holding significantly resembles a weapon that was cut from Halo Combat Evolved, which was the Gravity Rifle. Now, I personally doubt that it is the Gravity Rifle, because that just seems like a really far-fetched, although it does look kind of similar. But, you know, it's something cool that I thought I'd point out, because if it did turn out to be the Gravity Rifle, that would be a truly amazing callback. And also, can we just take note of the main brute wearing huge slabs of metal? His armour looks mad. It's like it could literally take a beating from anything, and I'd love to see a Spartan even try and fight that. Next up, we have the Spartans and the Marines. Now, the first standout thing is that there's more than just Red Team here. I can count around 13 Spartans, and they're all in their original Mark IV. Now, my bets are that some of these Spartans are the remainder of Omega Team, who are a splinter of Red Team, but they only contain 6 members, and obviously Red Team only had 3 members, so that leaves at least 4 Spartans that are unidentified, and that's on the assumption that all of Omega Team actually made it back to the Spirit of Fire alive. However, something similar did happen with the Halo Wars 1 reveal trailer that I'm sure you've all seen before, where loads of Spartans were shown, many more than were actually canonically present in the game, so it's sort of just poetic license. The Marines also appear to be in their old style BDUs and armor sets, looking the same as the original trilogy, which is excellent. The old design was, in my opinion, far more unique and more, I like to say, more Halo than the new design, and hopefully 343 continues this in their games in the future when they see that us, the fans, absolutely love it and prefer it to the current design. The Marines and Spartans are also all holding the BR-55, which is the Halo 2 BR variant. Again, another thing that's sort of utilising the old weapon aesthetics from the original trilogy, although it wouldn't make sense, canonically at least, for them to be using the BR-85 that's present in Halo 5. Overall, the fact that Creative Assembly are staying true to Halo's original aesthetic design is fantastic. It also shows that 343 are likely hearing our calls to return to the older aesthetic design for many things, as they will have absolutely advised Creative Assembly to use a certain aesthetic, and it's, at least in my opinion, fantastic news that they chose to use the old one. Lastly, another thing for Flawless Cowboy's breakdown of this picture was that he pointed out that there's this thing in the corner that is likely the Kodiak, which is a vehicle that was originally cut from Halo Wars 1 that has popped up very recently actually in Mega Bloks' Halo Wars 2 lineup, which is very interesting. Now, moving on, behind the brutes that are center stage, there appears to be a fucking huge army of brutes. However, on the left of these look, at least to me, like Flood combat forms. Now, it might just be me, but this one here in particular looks like it has the tentacle arm of a brute combat form. Now, I think this might just be me looking too deep into it, wanting a massive Flood presence in the game, but to me, it does look like a combat form. Behind these brutes, we also have a new vehicle, which actually, again, looks quite Floodish. It doesn't appear very similar to the same style that the brute Scarab has, and with these tentacle things sticking up at the top, it just resembles the Flood and their general aesthetic, to me at least. Now, it isn't totally unlikely that the Flood are in this art beside the brutes, because art like this is normally just to show off the general overview of the game, which includes like all the factions, quite a few of the units, especially new ones that they want to show off, and a few important locations for sort of teasers of the story. Now, finally, we're taking a look at what's in the top left-hand corner of this picture, and we have the old Banshee and Spirit design. For someone who wants Halo to go back to its old aesthetic design, this is like a dream come true for me. This is honestly like a dream come true. The Banshees appear to be the Type 26C from Halo 3, with the small little balls on the end of both the wings that tie them together and also provide the boosters, and the Spirits look very reminiscent of the Halo CE Type 25 Spirit model, which is good, but I honestly like Halo 5's Spirit model as well, so I wouldn't be too fussed which model they went for. Overall, I just want to profusely thank 343 and Creative Assembly for allowing the aesthetic design to honour Bungie's and not just straight up redesign it like 343 has done mostly with Halo 4 and 5. I know I am most definitely not alone when I say that I do prefer the old design for a lot of things, from weapons through to vehicles, through to structures, through to ship design, through to species, pretty much everything. I think a lot of people are with me in the fact that the old designs are, I know this is subjective, but superior. 343 can obviously do what they want because it is their series now. They do have the entire control over it, so they can do what they want, but I and a lot of other people would love for them to go back to the old design, and this might just be a good hint in the right direction for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of this Halo Wars 2 leaked picture. I am so excited for E3 now, and you know that for the future Halo Wars 2 content, for trailer breakdowns, gameplay, everything, you're in the right place. Hidden Xperia is where you want to come for that. I will be covering Halo Wars 2 massively until its release, and after its release as well. You can expect me to be doing gameplays and everything along the lines of that. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.